Hey guys, welcome to our tips for technique video. This video we are going to be focusing on our feet positions for ballet, our arm positions to correspond with those feet positions, as well as our demi and grand plies. So to start, we're going to find our first position. So that is when our heels are together and our toes are facing away. Now remember, if you refer to our first video, that's talking about our proper alignment in dance technique, and our second video is our tips for functional turnout. So please refer to those so that way you know how to adequately stand and rotate in this position. So from here, my legs are pressing nice and straight into the ground. My weight is in the toes, the balls of my feet, and my toes are facing away. When I'm in this position, my arms are going to be like it's holding a big beach ball. So they're not too close, they're not super straight, they're nice and rounded. My shoulders are rolled back, and it's like my middle fingers are in line with where my sternum would be, just like that. And then if I face the side wall, I'm nice and straight from the top of my head all the way down through my toes, holding these positions nice and strong. So we don't want sloppy elbows, we don't want them towards the ground, we want to be pressing nice and strong through our scapulas. And that's the other thing, in each of these arm positions, everything is initiated from our scapulas, which are straight back here. So this is our first position. Then we're going to open up to our second position. So our second position is approximately 12 inches with our heels apart, and our toes are facing away. Now again, we don't want to be so rotated that we can't keep our balance. We want to find a nice functional turnout. And again, I'm still rotated, my glutes are still squeezed, my rotators are still engaged in this position. So this is my second. I'm not super wide, I'm not super small, it's approximately 12 inches like I said. And in this position, my arms are, think about giving somebody a hug. So you want to think, if I had a big marble or a raindrop or something, it would float from my shoulder all the way down my index finger. And that would be like that on both sides. So we don't want them so far back. I want to be able to see my fingers through with my peripherals, with my eyes. And then I don't want them straight, I want them slightly rounded. Again, I don't want my elbows drooped. I want to engage those muscles and pull them up. And then again, if I'm facing the side, I have a nice straight line from the top of my head all the way down through the bottom of my spine. My legs are engaged and my arms are out, and my chin is nice and tall. Alright, and we're going to skip right over third position, and we're going to go to fourth position. There are two types of fourth position, and that's closed and open. So let's start with our open position. And with our open position, you're going to go to your first, and you're going to slide your foot out approximately 12 inches. So then your heels should be in line. And in your fourth position, both of them, it's really easy to open up this back hip. You want to think about this hip pressing forward, staying engaged, so you're spiraling from this hip all the way through this shoulder. And then your arm position here is, it's the same arm as leg that is out. So my left leg is out right now, so my left arm is out. And then my right arm is going high above my head. Then the second fourth position I like to personally use is when your heel is in line with that back toe and you're about 12 inches away. In this position, it's easy to disengage in one of your rotators, so you start to lose your turnout and start to end up finding a parallel position. Or one foot might be really turned out and then the other foot might be not at all. So really make sure that you're staying equally engaged, and that's in any of these positions. Make sure that you're using equal turnout in these positions. Then we go to our fifth position. So our fifth position is when our heel is directly in line with that back toe. So you don't want to have it overcrossed, and you don't want it in the middle of that foot, because technically this is third position. So if I'm staring at you as your dance instructor, I shouldn't see your back toes at all. Okay, and then here it's also easy to start to bend that front leg. You want to engage and press through the floor to pull up and stay engaged through your rotators to maintain this position. Okay, your weight should be equal on both legs, and your legs should be nice and straight. When you're in this position, your arms are nice and high, And again, you don't want them so far back that your sternum and your chest starts to stick out. You want to keep that nice dance position that we talked about, and you want to be able to see your fingers in the peripheral of your eyes. And you don't want them too short, you don't want them super straight, you want them slightly rounded, and again, you should be able to see your fingers with the peripheral of your eyes. Now we're going to talk about our plies. So there's two types of plies. There's a demi-plie and there's a grand plie. So plie means to bend, and demi means half, and grand means big. So let's start first with our demi-plie, which means half of a bend. So we're going to find our first position, and then what we're going to do is we're going to plie, keeping our knees going directly over those toes. My back is nice and straight, as I said, so I'm not sending everything forward. I'm thinking nice and maintained as I descend down. And then I don't want my knees to pronate forward. I want to stay engaged to keep those knees facing, pressing towards your back wall. So your demi-plie is the maximum position you can go down before your heels have to come off the floor. So this is your demi-plie in your first. Now my grand plie, so my big bend, in my first, I'm going to descend down. I'm going to find my demi-plie. Then from here, I'm going to keep descending, and I'm going to slightly lift my heels to go down. Then I'm going to press my heels back into the floor to come up. Now whenever I'm doing this, I don't want you to disengage your muscles. So as I go down, I don't want you to sit back and flop, because everything through here is no longer engaged. You're not working anything. You want to stay engaged, sitting on top of those muscles as you press your heels down and come back up. A nice grand plie from the side. I'm staying nice and tall and lifted. As I descend down, my knees are pressing out. Press my heels into the ground, and I come up. Now I'm going to go into my second position with my feet. My arms are going to be out nice and wide, like we talked about earlier. My demi, I'm going to give myself a nice half bend. Again, I don't want to sway my back. I want to think about there's a string pulling my head nice and tall, but also pulling me straight down to the bottom. So in my demi-plie, I'm going to bend, and I'm going to engage my rotators to press up and facing the side. I'm here, I'm down, pressing my knees towards the back wall, engaging to come up. Nice. So now in my grand plie, so this is an easy position to cheat a little bit. So when we are in our second position, first of all, in our second, our heels do not come off the ground. They stay nice and intact as you descend down. Now from here, I'm going to start to descend, and I'm keeping my pelvis nice and in line, so I'm not squatting back. I'm keeping everything nice and neutral in line as I descend down. My knees are pressing back, and then I'm going to come up and open. So to the side, I want to come down, staying nice and in line, coming up and out. Again, I don't want to press my body forward, because this is a whole different exercise. This is more of a squat than it is a plie. So no booties out, booties stay in and engaged. Then we go to our fourth position. Let's start with our open fourth. So my heels are directly in line, and I'm here. I'm pressing my right side forward so it's not falling back. And then as I plie, I'm going to make a diamond shape. I'm going to demi, staying nice in line, and demi, staying nice in line. And then in my grand plie, whenever I'm in an open position, my heels do not come off the ground. So I'm going to continue. I'm going to descend as far as I possibly can. This is as far as I can go. Then I'm going to come up, and then I'm going to open. Now let's talk about my closed fourth position, where my heel is directly in front of that toe, and my weight is nice and equal between these two legs. Now as I demi again, this knee, your back knee, is going to want to come inward. You want to make sure it stays nice and rotated, pressing towards the side walls. So we're going to demi and stretch up, we're going to demi, we're going to stretch up, staying nice and tall and lifted. Again, weight on both feet, pressing into the ground. Then on this one, our grand plie, we can go ahead and pick up those heels. So as I come down, again, my knees are pressing over those toes. As I come down, I'm staying nice and engaged. My hip is pressing forward, and then I come up, pressing those heels into the ground, and then squeeze to re-engage in this position. All right, now we're going to go to our fifth position, where our heel is right in front of that toe. And then from here, again, you want to stay nice and engaged, legs nice and straight, and we're going to demi, so going straight down and up, and demi, going straight down and up. Now again, in this grand plie, it's easy to send your pelvis back. It's easy to send your sternum forward. So here, and it's also easy to bring your knees forward opposed to keeping them open to the side. So from here, you want to think about knees staying to the side, and coming up and open. Now again, you don't want to find this position and drop. You want to stay engaged and pulled up as you find that position. So you should be feeling your muscles at all times in that plie. If there's a sense of relief of, this feels like a break once you hit that bottom, you're doing it wrong. Keep those muscles nice and engaged using those rotator muscles. So I'm going to walk you through a super quick exercise that incorporates all of those demi and grand plies in each position. So I'm going to pretend like this is the wall is my bar. I'm placing my right hand on the bar. I'm keeping my shoulders nice and square. Notice how my arm's not all the way back here. It's slightly in front of me so I can keep everything pressing forward. So then I'm in my first position. Okay? I'm going to do 2 demis, demi and stretch, and demi and stretch. Now I'm going to grand plie, staying engaged, open a second, and demi, and stretch, and demi, and stretch, grand plie, and down, coming up, to 4, open, 2 demi, keeping that right side engaged in front, demi, and stretch, grand plie. Don't lift those heels, and come up. Now, close that 4th, and demi, and stretch, and demi, and stretch, grand plie. My heels come off the floor to 5th, and demi, and stretch, and demi, and stretch, grand plie, and 6, and up, and close. All right, just to recap, we learned our first position, our second position, our fourth position, opened and closed. We learned our fifth position. Then we learned demi, which means half in each position, and we learned grand, which means full or big. I hope you guys start putting into practice all these different concepts to think about as you're in each of these positions and as you're descending and ascending in and out of each of your demi and grand plies. And stay tuned for more videos so we can continue to enhance your dance technique. Thank you.